Hey everyone, today I'm coming to you with a review of the brand new Star Wars Black Series Rogue One, A Star Wars Story, Stormtrooper, Jedha Patrol, or Jedha Patrol Stormtrooper. Either way works. But he is he's a figure, I guess, but there's really not a lot to say about it because it is a reuse with a couple new elements, so this will be a quicker review, but without further ado, let's get into the Jedha Patrol Stormtrooper review. I'm sorry. Let's get into his review. So, what you see is what you get with the figure. He is included with his rifle, his backpack, which is a huge piece of plastic, and because it's so heavy, I find that the knees are just so, like, twisty and loose, and he is a little bit harder to stand compared to some of the other Stormtroopers, but we will get into that in a few moments. First, I want to read to you his bio. So, Stormtrooper Jedha Patrol. The Empire occupies Jedha with Stormtroopers, who are elite shock troops fanatically loyal to the Empire. A prolonged battle between Imperial forces and scattered rebels carries on in the time-worn streets. So, this is, of course, from Rogue One. So, there you can see the art. Now, it's crazy just to think that we're on number 9 already, and I think the first Rogue One figure in the Galaxy packaging came out, like, maybe November, but, so he is, we have Anton Merrick, who I do not have yet. I will have soon, because he is hitting Canada, and then, presumably, the upcoming Saw Gerrera, but we are not too sure. But that is enough with the goddamn box. Get out of here. Oh, sorry, actually, like my boxes should have done that. But, to the figure, like I said, it is a repaint or reuse of the Stormtrooper from the first wave of the Galaxy packaging, who was a part of the Mandalorian sub-theme. Now, what I did notice is with this figure, it doesn't look, because I do have two, but my other one had a really warped helmet, and I know most of them did, because it was kind of their first time experimenting with the head sculpt under the helmet, so they hadn't really worked it out, and now, obviously, about 2 years after, we get this, which is just like the perfectly sculpted Stormtrooper helmet. Obviously, it has some dents, but I think that was from me, not the factory. But you can just see it is even, it is perfect, it is looking good. The paint isn't the best, but, you know, the sculpt is the most important part, and that is for sure there. Because you can see this one is just, it's very expressive, and it shouldn't be because it's a helmet. But what I did do, and I'm not going to do with this figure in the review because it does take a while, but what I think a lot of people don't realize about this figure, and I don't really want to say because then it's going to sell even hotter than it already was, this is just a Stormtrooper, because you can take the pauldron off and you can take the backpack off. Now, you will have this rifle, granted, but that wasn't a problem for me because I have several Stormtrooper blasters. So all of this comes off if you want to just have a normal Stormtrooper, and that's why I'm going to army build this one, because I want to have some more Stormtroopers, because they are a little harder to come by today. But his backpack is really the only point of focus that I kind of want to go over, because that's the only new element here, and it kind of just looks like a boombox. So, you know what? This is not the Jedha Patrol Stormtrooper, it's the Boombox Patrol Stormtrooper. So, that's what we're going to stick with. You can see the sculpt is very great on this, but again, I do think some black wash would have gone a far way. And then there you can kind of see that there is a indent, which I didn't notice before, but that does go over the whatever this thing's called. Let me know in the comments below. I've always wondered, but I know it has, I think, either ammunition or food for the troops. But there you can see his orange patrol commander pauldron, or whatever it is. And then another cool thing is if you want a Stormtrooper, you get this with this figure, or if you want just like a pauldron Stormtrooper, you can get that and take the backpack off, because the pauldron is separate. And what you do to remove all this stuff is you take the helmet off first. So you put it under hot water. I would recommend hot water, not a hair dryer, just because there's some empty space, negative space inside the helmet, so it might like permanently warp it. But you take that off, and then what you do then is you can kind of take the shoulder pad off, you take it off through there, it goes through the arm, and then this side will unpeg. You can kind of start to see it unpeg, but it will unpeg, and then to put it back on, you put the backpack on first and then the pauldron. So it is a little tricky, but I have done it a few times, so it is all good for that. And then here you can kind of see the massive antenna on it, which is a really cool sculpt and is just ported on with a little square kind of port, but it really is flush with the rest of the sculpt of the bag. Just really, really great job on the backpack, and that was the main thing that they had to do with this, because, you know, I look at the waves and I see what's new and I see what's reuse, and this is obviously kind of the reuse that they went with, just so they could budget for those more expensive new tooled figures. There is a bit of a sculpt on the back. You can kind of see the backpack indent kind of on the back of it, so those kind of just merge together, but I don't really have a lot more to say about this, so I guess let's get into his articulation and then comparisons. So the articulation on the Jedha Patrol Trooper it's a Stormtrooper mold, and I was so tempted not to go over it for this review, but I will because of the pauldrons. So the head does go up that far. It will go down a little bit, not a lot, but another thing that I have to say about the Stormtrooper articulation is, you know, you might complain about it. I think it's amazing. It's probably the most posable trooper we have, but some people complain about the articulation, but that's actually how they moved in the movies, because don't forget, they are actually wearing this plastic. This isn't just on the toy. They wore this. So this articulation is basically what it was for the real Stormtroopers, or the real actors in the Stormtrooper costume. So keep that in mind. So this won't go down that far. The head does go to the side a bit. To the side, it is on the dumbbell, so it can go, you know, full 360, it can do all its stuff, but obviously it's not as, you know, posable as the Mandalorian one, because we have all this Baba Ganoush in the way, which is great and all, but the arms will go out that far. They will go full 360, and I love this because the shoulder pad, or the shoulder pad is on a separate rotating axis, so you can kind of move them at the same time, or you can move the arm and have the shoulder pad do its own thing. They did a very great job engineering these new Stormtroopers and Clone Troopers, so props to Hasbro again. But there is a butterfly joint in there, so you can get it going like this. Like I said, it only goes up that far, but you do get that full 360 movement, and then you can kind of fidget with it to get the pauldron back down. Single jointed elbows, which go in a very decent amount, more than 90, very good. And then rotating, of course, and then this hand is up, and he's doing this pose, and down, and full 360, and this one is the trigger finger, so you get that kind of movement, obviously. Ab crunch goes down that far, back, not so much. You get some tilt, full 360, even with the backpack, and there is no waist cut. Legs will kick forward that far, back a lot, and then he will do the splits this far. There's an upper thigh cut, of course. Single jointed knees with a rotation and ankle pivot that goes up, down, and of course you get the ankle rocker pivot. But, like I said, you have a Stormtrooper, you know what you're getting with this, just a little bit hindered. So, I don't think most of you came to the review for the articulation, so let's just get into the comparisons. So, this is the main comparison I want to do. We got the Stormtrooper band here. We got Paul, never mind. But this is all of the Stormtroopers that are available as of now with the new Stormtrooper mold, I believe. I think so. Minus the George Lucas, but that's not technically out, and that is basically just the Mandalorian one. But you can see that they all have the same body, just, you know, they use different kind of sculpts for little additional things and different paint, of course. But my favorite, I really like these two. And you know what? I do like you, but, you know, you don't really like to stand, so you know what? You can stand. Okay, breathe. But anyway, you know, it's a Stormtrooper mold. So of course, Mortar Trooper or Artillery Trooper, the Jedha Patrol Trooper, the standard Stormtrooper, and of course the Flame Trooper. Lots more that they could do, and I know they will do. So let's get into my final thoughts. So my final thoughts on this figure is, this is something that I want Hasbro to keep doing. I really love this Stormtrooper mold, the new one, and I really want to army build it, and I know a lot of you guys do as well, but, you know, because it isn't, like, a deluxe figure, you're not going to get 6 per case, so they go on the shelves and they fly off. But with this, we get a Stormtrooper, but we get something different. So you can have your normal Stormtrooper, or you can have your Jedha Patrol Trooper. So if we get something like this every year and just keep the Stormtrooper mold on the shelves, on the market, you know, that's great, because every year or so we'll get, you know, 3 or 4 more Stormtroopers into the collection, which is always great. And this is definitely one that I'm very excited to have. But that is all I really have to say about the Stormtrooper. Let me know what you do think of him in the comments below. Are you going to pick him up? Did you know that it is basically just a normal Stormtrooper and you can take everything off? What are your thoughts on Hasbro including this in the wave? Is this something that was needed or kind of just a filler? But overall, I'm going to give this figure a... it's a weird figure to rate, because like I don't have anything wrong with it. I mean, I guess I could say 10 out of 10, but it doesn't feel like a 10 out of 10 figure to me. This feels like a 10 out of 10 figure. I don't know. I'll give it a 9 out of 10. You know, there's not really anything wrong with it. Besides, they really should have added a lot more paint to this, because, you know, they went out of their way to do this amazing sculpt and they just left it how it was, which is a bummer. But anyway, I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to let you guys go off with your day. Like, subscribe, and I will see you on my next video, which actually I think I know what it will be. It's probably Ceremony Leia or Babe Fortuna. So little spoilers there, but that's all I have to say for now. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye, guys.